Greetings, I'm Lebogang Felda Selahle. I'm the founder and the CEO of Beatitude Psychology Center. Today's topic is the character of marriage in the 21st century. And before we continue, I would like to take a disclaimer. All the views that shall be expressed in this topic are those of the author, being me, and as the author, I do not warrant that the information in this presentation is free from errors or omission, and portion of this work are copyrighted and another portion emanate from my 23-year experience as a clinical psychologist in private practice, and as permitted under the Copyright Act, the copyrighted parts may not be reproduced by any process, electronic or otherwise, without the specific written permission of the copyright owners. Neither may information be stored electronically in any form whatsoever without such permission, and I shall adhere to that. Now, the topic of today is the character of marriage in the 21st century. The character of marriage has changed from the past to where we are today. And in the past, marriage was understood as a social obligation designed to provide for economic security and procreation. Economic security in a sense that every girl was encouraged to be married in a well-to-do family so that her family will benefit from her being married in that particular family, and procreation so that human being will continue to give birth and we have new generation and generations. Recently, marriage is perceived primarily as a path to self-fulfillment. Personal fulfillment fuel our society higher divorce rate, leading to the conclusion that happily after is a mostly difficult state to achieve. Marital problems most likely have their roots in the premarital stage. Attitudes and behavior learned from our family of origin and our society. We have problems in the marriage because of where we come from, because of what we experience and engage in before we enter into marriage. Therefore, people need to be prepared in knowledge, in attitude, or skill to have the kind of marriage they expect. When we look at marriage, marriage is the dream for every girl, and wedding celebration is also a dream for every girl. And we should understand that wedding and marriage are two different things. Wedding celebration is a 1 day or 2-day event. To us black people, often is a 2-day event. And marriage is a lifetime obligation. So let's look at the wedding ceremony. What does it mean to us as black, mostly of us as black people? Not to say we exclude others. A wedding ceremony is where two people are united in marriage. They are united, they become one. And wedding tradition and custom vary greatly between the cultures, between the ethnic groups, religions, countries, and social classes. Most marriages require exchange of relationship vows. Hence we see people taking vows, reading vows to each other. Some they prepare them, some they are prepared for them. And marriage also require presentation of gifts. We see people exchanging gifts. The family of the groom and the family of the bride, they often exchange gifts. And those gifts, they have a meaning. The ring, for example, has a meaning. The goat that they bring over, or the family of the bride, when they send their daughter away, they send her with gifts. It could be blankets, it could be traditional mat, anything that they take with the bride, it has got a meaning. And marriage require public proclamation of the matrimony by a power figure. In most cases, that power figure is the pastor or an elder in the community. They often say they give away their daughter's hand in marriage. And in my line of work, psychology is one of the science. There is a comfortable consensus that marriage has a temporary positive honeymoon period. It is positive, it is temporary. So we're going to look at that and understand this process. There are few reasons that make honeymoon to be temporary and at the same time to be positive in nature. And let us look at ourselves, our brain. Our brain play an important role in the honeymoon phase or the honeymoon period. When two souls meet, when two people see each other the first time and they fall in love, is because the brain is playing a role there. And the feeling of early love are maintained by the brain regions that control two hormones. And these hormones is the dopamine and the oxytocin. The dopamine and the oxytocin. These are the hormones that play an important role when it comes to the honeymoon phase. These two hormones intoxicate an individual and at the same time sustain the romantic love. So there is no set amount of time before those intoxicating feelings start to shift. But as time goes on, they will start to fade and shift. However, researchers found that honeymoon phase can last up to 30 months. And when we look at 30 months, it's a period of 2 years and half year. So the honeymoon phase can last that longer, but it's temporary, it's gonna fade away. At this time of honeymoon period, partners ignore the bad and glorify the good. And often people say, I didn't notice that this person is so bad, or this person has got this bad attitude or behavior. that is not true. It's because of the dopamine and the oxytocin hormone that you tend to ignore the bad things and you glorify, even magnify the good thing about your partner. So the brain chemical put the two people in love, and when they are in love, they become blind to their partner's faults and they even tolerate them. You can call your partner or your lover and talk for an hour about nothing. You call and your partner say, but honey, sweetheart, we just spoke, baby. We just spoke 2 minutes. What is it that now we have to talk about? And the other one will say nothing. And the interesting thing is that they will talk about nothing for almost an hour because of the brain chemicals. So we said this honeymoon phase is temporary. So there are also challenges that arise with the honeymoon phase. Often for those who are encouraged not to enter into sexual engagement before marriage, they have to go to the honeymoon the night after their marriage. So when they go there, that is where problems start. Some, they come back, they went to the honeymoon being a happy married couple or newly wedded, and now they come back with a problem. One of the problems they could come back with, and we don't prepare them for this, that is the sad part, is the honeymoon impotence. It is a relatively frequent among the Christian, where male youth are prevented, strongly so, by the Christian principle or by their religious law or their cultural taboos from having previous sexual experiences. So the honeymoon impotence can be described as failure to perform successfully during sexual intercourse, and it will happen in the first night post their marriage. It can happen in a form of difficulty in achieving a sufficient erection for vaginal penetration, and or it can happen in a form of the male person having difficulty of maintaining erection for at least 10 minutes. So these people went out to honeymoon to have fun, and problems have started. And we should remember they are married now. In my field of work, this honeymoon impotence is generally accepted as performance anxiety, arising from an emotional response to stress. Whenever a person is having performance anxiety, often is related to a reaction to stress. And in this circumstance, the stress is the first experience in sexual intercourse. And if this is not well attended to, it could be the beginning of marital discord. It could be the foundation of future divorce. This happens because nobody or few people prepare the youth of what they should expect during honeymoon phase and what follows post-honeymoon phase. And when I speak of post-honeymoon phase, I speak of the real marriage life. Often we don't prepare